Ready to put your CRM on autopilot? In this video, I'm handing you the exact steps to unleash an autonomous AI agent that runs your CRM for you while you sleep. I'll show you an AI agent that instantly enriches and qualifies your leads. It accurately fills every essential property in HubSpot, and it syncs data both ways, so your CRM and the AI agents stay perfectly in step 24/7. And it triggers custom workflows the moment a hot prospect appears. Now let's dive in. So today I'm going to show you a very basic example where we trigger an AI agent from HubSpot with an automated workflow, and then we synchronize some enriched details back into HubSpot. And the use case here that I'm going to show you is a lead qualification use case. So imagine that you have a bunch of leads, a bunch of users or prospects who you want to qualify into different buckets based on firmographics data or product usage data, and you want to define whether they fall into the ideal customer profile category. But you want to do it in a completely autonomous manner. So therefore, we're going to trigger this AI agent directly from HubSpot and then pass all the enriched qualification details back into the system. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to classify this person into many different buckets that will then define to what extent this person is qualified. So it could serve as the basis of further lead scoring within the CRM. Now let's look at this Qualifier AI agent. As you notice, this agent was triggered by HubSpot with this message. So it received an email and a LinkedIn URL, and then it used two AI tools. One of them is responsible for qualifying the prospect, assigning the prospect into different buckets, and the other one to synchronize back into the CRM system, into HubSpot. Now, if we look into the qualification tool, you'll see that the input here is a personal LinkedIn URL, and we scrape this person's LinkedIn URL. Based on that, we evaluate whether they are an agency business or a non-agency type business. We also define their business model, so B2B or B2C. We pull the location data about the person, their company LinkedIn URL, their company name, the company size, the funding info, if there was any. And the agent also makes an attempt to define whether this person falls into the ideal customer profile category based on our own definition. We also know their industry, and we also categorize them into a job function based on their job title. And finally, we categorize them based on their location and their seniority. And we also define whether they fall into a tech company or SaaS company category. I'm not going to go deep into this tool, but feel free to reach out and I can share this with you. It has, I think, more than 20 different LLM prompts that categorize the scraped LinkedIn profile into these categories. After the agent runs this qualification tool, it will need to pass these details back into our CRM to enrich the prospect with this information. And so the agent is going to use this HubSpot sync tool, which you can find in Relevance AI's AI tool library. You'll notice that we have all these inputs here that we just saw, and the output is very simple. We simply output the result, the API call. If you click into this tool, you'll notice that it's a very simple API call and it's delivered to us by the Relevance AI team. So you can find this in the product library. So we simply map all these variables, all these input variables to existing HubSpot variables. So job title is an existing property in our HubSpot system, as well as HubSpot _ LinkedIn URL and so on and so forth here. And on the right-hand side, we can see the input variables of this tool. So these ones here. So B2B evaluation, which in this case is B2B, filled out by the agent after it ran the qualification tool. We're going to pass this data here into this B2B evaluation variable. And then this API call is going to synchronize this data point into our system, mapping with this HubSpot property. Now let me show you how this looks like in the HubSpot CRM. So if we look at this contact who I just enriched and qualified, you'll notice that now we know all this information. So the company name, the company size, and the B2B company evaluation, as well as tech company evaluation, and so on and so forth. I'll show you quickly how the different variables look like within the system. So here on the properties, you'll find the B2B company evaluation property, for example, and you'll need to use this internal name here in the mapping. So this is how you can push data from your AI agents into your CRM, but how can you trigger your AI agent from the CRM? Now let's look into that. So if we go back to the agent level and we go to the build tab, on the triggers, we'll be able to find the HubSpot trigger that I configured. And this trigger will be used by a HubSpot workflow that we can set up under workflows. So in this case, I set it to manual trigger only, but we could introduce some more advanced intelligent filtering here. For example, only enroll a contact into this flow if their lead score is above 50 or something. And if that's true, that is going to trigger an AI agent using Relevance AI's built-in integration. And it's going to send this message to the agent saying, qualify this person. The email address is the email token that I'm grabbing from the CRM. It is the email property and the LinkedIn URL. And it's going to message the agent that has this address here. And I can obtain this API key blob directly from the agent trigger page. So if I delete this now and remove the trigger, I can connect a new trigger to this system. Now I'm going to use an existing one because I have already authenticated this account, so I'm happy to use this. I'll generate a new JSON and then I'll copy this and paste it into this API key blob field. As you noticed, this number changed here, and then I'll save. So now if I enroll a new contact manually, then I'm going to be able to trigger the agent. So now this workflow is all set up. I can go ahead and manually enroll a contact. But before that, let's go back to Relevance AI and let's approve this and finalize the authentication. Now this is all done. If we go back to the Run tab, we'll be able to monitor the active tasks. So now let's go back to HubSpot and let's enroll a new contact into the workflow and let's see what happens in the system. I have this list in HubSpot that is qualified prospects, and I have Roche Singh from Relevance AI with a dummy email here as a contact. And as you notice, none of these columns are filled out. So now let's go into the workflow and let's enroll this contact manually. So I go to enroll manually and I'll search for the contact and click enroll. And so now if I go back to Relevance AI, I can see that there was one task in the queue that was triggered by HubSpot, and the agent received these instructions and it's now running the Qualify Prospect tool. Now that the tool run finished after 3 minutes, it is trying to use the Create Contact in HubSpot tool to synchronize all these details back into the system. And then it provided this output for us. And so these are all the details that the agent was able to collect about this person using this Qualified Prospect tool. And hopefully it was able to update this contact, which already existed in the system. Now let's go into HubSpot and let's look at how all these properties got updated. And here in this qualified prospects list, we can see that the job title, job function, company name, company size, and these evaluation as to whether the company is in the B2B space and whether it's a tech company, these all got updated. And so if I wanted, now I could build a more intelligent lead scoring solution on top of this, taking all these classifications into account. I really hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, and feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share this template or other templates as well. My LinkedIn DMs and my emails are always open. See you in the next videos. Bye bye.